Thank you all for coming and welcome to the city of Corbin. My name is Susie Rasmus and I'm the mayor here, and I'm just thrilled to death to have everybody in person at this event. So appreciative. Oh, you can. I'm happy everybody is here and thankful for you all to be here. We decided to move the event inside because of the weather this morning. I really tried to bargain with God to make sure that the weather was going to be nice, but then at the last minute I just kind of freaked out and decided we needed to move inside, and look, it's a beautiful day. But Second and Main is such a fabulous event space that I think it all happens the way it's supposed to, because you're able to see this wonderful space that Sky and Jeff Marietta, they were truly the current revitalization of downtown Corbin by coming to town and investing in our community. So thankful for them. I know Sky's here. I don't know if Jeff's here or not, but thank you to them. All right, so we've got some special guests that I would like to introduce, and I'm going to apologize because I have to put on my readers. I can't see anymore. I'm not sure if Regina Huff is here, our state representative. I don't believe she made it today, but our representative Tom Odell Smith is here. Thank you for coming. We've got Senator Brandon Storm from Laurel County here. Thank you, Brandon. We've got Judge Executives Pat White and his deputy Steve Warren from Whitley County. We have Mike Mitchell from Knox County Judge Executive. Shane Gabbard from Jackson County. And did Chuck Caudell make it from Lee County? All right, thank you for coming. Mayors today, we've got Les Stapleton for the mayor of Prestonsburg here. Roddy Harrison, the mayor of the city of Williamsburg. Alan Keck, the mayor of Somerset. And I think my good friend Jacob Rowan's here from Pineville. There he is. Hi, thank you, Jacob, for coming. Extraordinary. We've got Rocky Atkins here today. Where is Rocky? There he is. Thank you for coming, Rocky. We also have Ethan Witt from EKU. Thank you for coming, Ethan. And I'm probably taking up all the time. I'm probably not supposed to do that. So if we could just hold our applause till the end, that would be great. Donna McClure, Senator McConnell's field rep. Alan Gillum, CEO of Appalachian Wireless. If you all wave too, that would be great for the crowd. Whitney Chestnut, Cumberland Valley Ad Executive Director. Carrie Collins, Executive Director of the Redbud Mission. Nancy Hale, CEO of Operation Unite. Lee Richardson with Baptist Health. Ted Hampton, Cumberland Valley Electric. Ted Fork of the Fork Group. Brett Traver, Southern Kentucky Economic Development Executive Director. And I don't believe Bruce Carpenter made it back. He had an event that he had to go to earlier, but I want to thank him. And Ron Hurd, City Utilities, may be here, possibly, not sure. We've got our Board of Commissioners from the City of Corbin, Trent Knuckles here. Allison Moore is here. Seth Reeves is here, and I'm not sure if Brandon made it. And Will Clem, the field rep from DLG, is here somewhere. There he is. Thanks, Will, for coming. And last but not least, I've got to give a shout out to the people that made this possible today. Maggie Kriebel Monholland and Marlon Sams, who work night and day for the city of Corbin. And I just cannot thank them enough for everything they do. So thank you. Oops, sorry. All right, so my first introduction today is our Congressman of the 5th District, Congressman Hal Rogers, a true visionary for our area. Hal always sees problems that he can solve in our region. He sees them as challenges, and how he comes up with creative ways to solve the problems in our region. I mean, truly, I can't overstate enough what he's done for us. I'm so appreciative of his service. Hal Rogers.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for the nice introduction, and thank you for the welcome you've given me here. I was having lunch with the mayor a little while ago, and we were repeating what has been the story all along, that this downtown Corbin really is where the Renaissance in the hills of Kentucky began. And so Corbin is a special place, and the way your downtown has redeveloped and is welcoming new businesses and new types of businesses even is a remarkable story. So thank you, Mayor, for letting us come into your beautiful city. You have thriving restaurants, local businesses filling your storefronts, and you're giving people exciting new opportunities right here at home. And it's good to see our good old friend Ted Hampton with us. Longtime friend at Cumberland Valley Electric Co-op. Ted was one of the many Kentuckians who fought a hard battle with COVID. He not only survived, but he's here today with us and ready to get back to work. We're delighted that you're doing well. Governor, good to be with you again. And you? He's spending a lot of time in East Kentucky and Southern Kentucky, and we're proud of that and proud for him, and we want to thank him publicly for paying attention to the needs of these hills in his state. As we begin to recover from the impact of the pandemic in our communities, we're laser focused on opportunities to boost our economy and create jobs. And today's announcement will certainly bring a boost to the business community in Corbin and the entire Tri-County area. Governor Beshear and I are proud to announce that the 2021 Soar Summit will be hosted by the City of Corbin at the Corbin Arena on October 13th and 14th later this year. You know, it was, I think, 6 or 7 years ago now, when the war on coal was having its biggest toll, and we were in desperate straits, to be frank with you. We lost 14,000 jobs, the backbone of the economy of East Kentucky. And it was so bad, and I felt so depressed about it, I asked for and got a visit with the other Governor Beshear, first one, and we had good conversations about what needed to be done. And we both concluded that what we needed first to do was to call together people from every community in our region. It's about 35 or so counties or more. And so we decided to create a summit, bring people of thought from throughout the region, call them together, share the bad news, and find out what we can do to reverse the tide. And we met in Pikeville on a blustery winter day, snow that deep. And people came from all over the territory. We had several hundred. I think it was 1,700 or something like that. Stayed all day. Blizzard going on outside. I don't know how they got there, or worse, how they were going to get home. But we had great conversations, and there was a spirit there. There was a spirit, a stirring, easily seen and felt. And out of that came this organization called SOAR, Shaping Our Appalachian Region. SOAR, like an eagle. And out of that organization has been developed a lot of good things going. A lot of new type technology that we're just now learning about, but we're learning to use and put to good use in hiring people to take care of their family. I have even come up with a name for our region. It's Silicon Holler. But we're bringing a lot of new technology into this region, individuals, businesses, and the like, with good help out of the governor's office, and of course our office, and all of you. I want to personally invite everyone to join us this fall as we share ideas and success stories to build a brighter future from Pike to Pulaski, from Corbin to Carter County, and all in between. And Mayor, this summit will infuse your community with all of those summit attendees who need a hotel room, a place to eat, place to fuel up, and so forth. So economically, it's going to be a good thing for Corbin. For many of us in the Cumberland Valley area, this may be the first time that you may have heard about the Soar Summit, because up until now, most of the activity of SOAR has been east of here. Now it's going to be here and throughout the entire region. SOAR is the largest think tank of our generation, bringing together leaders from a wide spectrum of industries to focus on the future of job creation, education, healthcare, infrastructure, agriculture, tourism, regional collaboration, and broadband connectivity. In fact, the Soar Summit has brought together more than 10,000 people since that first one in 2013, largely in the far eastern part of our state. And we want to generate that same excitement and participation here in southern Kentucky. SOAR has helped support more than $52 million in grant funding that has been awarded to the region to help create jobs, expand broadband, shore up our infrastructure, enhance tourism, and much more. And then thanks to SOAR's work to foster collaboration between community leaders and expanded broadband opportunities, more than 4,000 people are now working remotely through Teleworks USA and the Eastern Kentucky Concentrated Employment Program. And they're working mainly from their homes. Even people who are handicapped are working and earning money through the broadband activity of SOAR. Governor Beshear's father, Steve Beshear, and myself launched this bipartisan, nonpartisan organization in the midst of the war on coal. We lost those 14,000 jobs in Kentucky within a matter of a few months, really, but short years, as the coal industry took a sharp, devastating downturn. The future seemed obsolete and desolate at that time, as we watched our coal mines shut down, our coal trucks permanently parked, coal trains stopped in their tracks, still sitting there in many cases. But here's the thing about southern and eastern Kentucky. We don't quit. We survive. We find a way. We help our neighbors and friends. Go to church. And some of us pray. But the thing about it is, if we pull ourselves together, and then we pull together, there's no end to what we can achieve. And we're beginning to see that all across this district. I think of the outfit in Moorhead that's now producing tomatoes. An incredible facility, 58 acres under glass. It's bigger than my backyard. And it's working. And in fact, we ate those tomatoes out of the Kroger store at Somerset yesterday. So you're thinking, and you're working, and you're planning, and you're thinking outside the box. That's what's important. So SOAR is the way that we can all pull together and think new thoughts and support our neighbors and look across county lines, which in this case doesn't mean much. So we've got to think big. The steam engines that powered through Corbin's bustling depot back here in the past were fueled by the hardworking, visionary people of this region. They knew the importance of smooth operating rail yards, just like we know the importance of broadband connectivity for our economy today. And our future depends on this generation to see the opportunities that are ahead of us. That's why it's so important to have one of our own southeastern Kentuckians at the helm of the Kentucky Senate. Where's the Senate President? Here he is. Senate President Robert Stivers, a true champion for the Kentucky Wired statewide broadband project, Operation Unite, the Pride program, countless other projects that uplift our communities. Senator Stivers has fostered critical work to ensure that we have the tools we need to revitalize our region year after year. And we're thankful to have his commitment to the SOAR initiative as well, and he has been there from the very, very beginning. So, Governor Beshear, Senator Stivers, Mayor Rasmus, Colby Hall, we're all here to personally ask that you get on board and be a part of the SOAR movement with us. If we could convince this generation to use their time and talents here at home, I believe we could achieve anything. So I hope we'll see you back here again in October for that 2021 Soar Summit. We've got a lot of work to do, so let's roll up our sleeves and get at it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Congressman. I don't know about you all, but that got me all fired up. I'm ready to run out the door going, let's go. So, but we gotta, let's do it. Let's go, come on. I would like to introduce now the Governor of Our Commonwealth, a man that I have the great honor and privilege of inviting to our town. I've never had you here before, so I'm really happy to have you here and be able to thank you personally for your service to our community. Governor Andy Beshear.
How good does it feel to be here in person for this event today? I don't know about you, but I think we've deserved a few days like this. And we've deserved some good news. So I am thrilled to be here today in Corbin with good news. Let me start by saying thank you. These past 15 months have been something, haven't they? Some of the most difficult times that any of us have lived through. They've been times where we have felt strong emotions of grief, having lost over 7,000 Kentuckians in a 15-month span. That's more than any war that we've ever fought, at least going back before World War I. It's been a time when we've been stressed, and I've been stressed about our kids, the change in our everyday lives. There have been times of sacrifice where we've had to ask everyone from our healthcare providers to many small business owners to do things that in different times you'd never ask, but were necessary to protect people. But what we have seen in this time, I think, is the very best of who we are. Sure, some of the other stuff makes some headlines from time to time, but I think our goodness as Kentuckians have shined through. Just think about it. We deal with natural disasters with weather, about every week, it seems, in this area and others. We deal with snow, we deal with ice, we still deal with flooding. Rocky, sometimes we deal with those all three in a span of 2 weeks. But what happens every time? We're there for each other. We don't ask our political party. We don't get into any of the things that divide us at other times. We reach out our hand and we help one another. And you see every time in these disasters, we lose fewer people here in Kentucky than you see just about anywhere else that's going through it. That's exactly how we've acted these last 15 months. When you look at Kentucky, a place that we know we got to get healthier. We know we do. We're number 1, 2, or 3 in heart disease, diabetes, lung cancer. And we got some great healthcare heroes that are here today. Thank you for working to get everybody healthier. And thank you for walking in COVID wings week after week, day after day, month after month to protect our Kentuckians. But when you look at those health statistics, that's what this virus comes for. And every projection we had up front said we were going to lose more people per capita than just about any other state. Well, guess what? As we are coming to the end of this, we have lost fewer people per capita than just about any other state. Our hospitals were never overrun. And that's because of our people. Sacrifices every single day, living for one another, knowing the decisions we make could impact those around us and even those that we've never met. We were called on every day to not be selfish, but to be selfless, to be the very best of who we can be, to be who we're taught to be in church. And then to have to live that out in really tough times. But here we are. And so we felt all those emotions, and we're going to continue to feel them. There's going to be a lot of grief to process. And we got to recognize that with the number of Kentuckians we've lost. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling some different emotions lately too. I'm feeling hope. Hope because in a miracle from God, just 15 months after our first case of COVID-19, we have over 2 million Kentuckians vaccinated. That is a miracle. Hope that our cases, our hospitalizations, and our deaths have plunged. Hope that we now have about 83 to 84% of all Kentuckians age 65 and older vaccinated, meaning those that have been in harm's way are more protected than ever before. Hope that we've done better than most of our surrounding states in protecting our people. So I'm feeling a lot of hope. But lately, I'm feeling a lot of optimism too. Because after 15 tough months, I believe we have 15 great months ahead. You know, the concept of soar is taking off. It isn't just trying to inch forward, but to fly, to see major, rapid, positive economic change. And folks, that's what we are on the precipice of right now. We've gotten some of the best economic news in a period of a month than I've ever seen in my lifetime. It started with the recap of last year, where even in the midst of this pandemic, Site Selection Magazine, that's the #1 economic development magazine out there, ranked us #1 in our region in economic development. That's through a lot of hard work of people here and throughout the Commonwealth. They ranked us #1 of any state under 5 million people. That's pretty special. They ranked us #3 per capita across the United States, but let's take out the per capita. They put us directly in competition with California, New York, Texas, Florida. We were number 7th in the country. That's punching above our weight. But then our news has gotten better. And again, we deserve good news. We have these rating agencies that normally, any of those that have to borrow, give us bad news normally, have given us some of the best. First was Fitch's. They came out and they said our economy is rebounding faster than most other states. That's a good thing. And then came Moody's. And I didn't know rating agencies use this language, but they said our economy is recovering with gusto. That's their term, gusto. I like it. I may have used it a couple times since. And then we saw even more proof in the pudding. This last April was our best month when we look at consumer spending, whether people are out and about. It was our best month for sales tax, not since the beginning of the pandemic, but in the history of our Commonwealth. We sold more cars. Our motor vehicle usage tax was higher than it has ever been in the history of the Commonwealth. And as we sit here, just a little more than 5 months in to 2021, we've already announced double the investment in Kentucky and double the amount of new jobs that we did last year that Site Selection Magazine said all those things about. And I'll just give you an example last week, because we had good news for everybody last week. Last week, we announced 2,500 new jobs in 1 week. We announced over $270 million of new investment in just 1 week. And guess what? 250 of those jobs were right here in the Firestone expansion. We are very excited for this community. And so I think that we stand at the precipice of a greater chance for prosperity than we have seen in Kentucky in my lifetime. I think we stand at the precipice of larger, bigger, better wages than I've ever seen in my lifetime. But while that has me excited, I also know it comes with a lot of responsibility. Responsibility to make sure, just like we've lived for each other during COVID, we have to make sure we live for each other during chances for opportunity. Because if we're truly going to realize this once-in-a-lifetime chance that I believe is in front of us in these next couple of years, prosperity has to come to every single part of Kentucky, including right here in Corbin, throughout South Central Kentucky, and in Eastern Kentucky. Far too often, when there have been these chances, some have been left behind. But what we are seeing right now, both in how we've had to act for each other during COVID, but also with the number of new potential projects, we got a chance to do this right. Prosperity that reaches every corner of Kentucky. Prosperity that reaches every region and also every part of our cities within those regions. Think about it. If we can do our best and get right to the best of our ability, not just one of the most difficult times during COVID that any of us have ever experienced, but we can get right one of potentially the best times with what may be coming in the economy. We can do those both right. We can set Kentucky up to be a leader. And I believe that our chance to lead is bigger and greater than ever before. Because in a post-COVID world, the density of New York City or Los Angeles isn't that attractive anymore. And we are seeing more investors and more possibility in looking at purpose-based investment. How can we not only create good jobs, but how can we help revitalize a community than ever before? Congressman Rogers has been working to assist and help this community for a long time, and he mentioned App Harvest up in Moorhead. I want you to think about this. Our newest publicly traded company in Kentucky, one that I believe their building is now one of the 10 largest in the world. A group that has the most sophisticated LED lighting system, I believe, ever created in its facility, and it even has Martha Stewart on his board. It isn't just located in Kentucky, it's located in Eastern Kentucky. That ought to give us not just excitement, but the acknowledgement that it's right here for the taking. So why not us, and why not now? And SOAR is a critical part to making this happen. I was at that first SOAR Summit, watching Congressman Rogers and my dad as a proud son for what they were trying to do. You know, I get asked, you ever get tired of hearing stories about your dad? And I say, no, I love him just like I love him. I'm proud to be a part of his legacy, and I hope he's a part of mine as well. And this is a legacy worth fighting for. a community coming together before a lot of the division we have seen, with the absolute truth that just like in COVID, when we can realize our lives and our prosperity are a lot more important than some of the other things we disagree on, then we can accomplish really great things together. And that we as Kentuckians, especially here in Eastern Kentucky, there are more things that we have in common than should ever be able to separate us. That we either rise together, we either soar together, or we don't grab that opportunity that's out there. So this Soar Summit, coming right here to Corbin, is coming at a special time. It's coming at a time when this planning has a better chance to be operationalized and produce incredible, quick results than ever before. And it's going to take thinking outside the box, which is what SOAR does. It's going to take rethinking how we do our workforce development, because if we get a chance at a couple that we got in front of us, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 new jobs in just one project, we got to think how we get people through, how we get them trained, and how we get them to work. But aren't these the challenges we have always wanted? The challenges that come with a big, bright future. So I hope everybody from here in Corbin, but also around Eastern and South Central Kentucky are going to join us. This is going to be a special time at a moment where I hope we look back and say, that's when we knew things were going to be entirely different. But it's a moment we've got to have that responsibility for. We cannot leave Eastern Kentucky, Southeastern Kentucky behind. It ought to be the place that we push the hardest and the fastest to make sure that this prosperity reaches absolutely everybody. Thank you all very much.
Very inspiring. Thank you so much, Governor. I appreciate it, and I'm so excited that you picked up the mantle that your father has started with Congressman Rogers to continue with SOAR. Thank you so much. So next, I would like to introduce our Senate President, Robert Stivers. He happens to be my senator as well. His leadership in Frankfort, the way that he navigates up there is like no one else, and I'm so thankful that he still takes my phone calls to this day, and that says a lot about someone. So, Robert Stivers.
To the mayor, it's getting a little more difficult to take those phone calls, but I still will. No, thank you for everyone coming out. Congressman Rogers, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. Governor, welcome to my Senate district here in Corbin. Glad you got to see a little bit of it today. I just want to talk about a few things, and I see several of my colleagues here from the legislature. You know, it's an interesting time. I'm now becoming one of the older people. This is my 25th year, and it is totally unprecedented times. And there's nothing that has been seen like this by anybody who has served before me, ever even longer than me, or some of my colleagues that I still stay in touch with. So as we sit here and look at this, we are in a unique time with a unique opportunity. And I want to talk about one of the highlights of this past session. Governor will remember this. We sat in the Supreme Court chamber. There were some of the governor's staff. I think Rocky was there. David Givens, Chris McDaniel, David Osborne, House leadership. And we talked about the ARPA monies, the American Rescue Plan monies. We have alphabet soup in Frankfort, as we all are aware. And we sat there across the table and we talked about, well, we should do this for water and sewer. We should do this for capital construction and school systems. We should do this for broadband. But we threw out a lot of different ideas. Not all of them were similar. But we sat around the table and figured out how we could come to a common purpose. And truly, it was one of the better instances in my career of people sitting around the table talking and figuring out what we needed to do to make things move forward coming out of a time like this. So what you're going to see in this first tranche of money that is going to come out of the federal government to help us get through this period of time is a substantial investment in broadband. And that is critical to what we need, because I want to give you an example. I think Judge Gabbard's here from Jackson County. Right behind you, okay. You know, I met a man who was telling me about an interesting, and you may know this man, Judge Gabbard. He moved out of Chicago. Long and short was he was tired of paying $18,000 in property tax on a 1,200 square foot condo and living in Chicago. So he came to Jackson County because PRTC and the broadband that was there. He is a computer engineer or programmer, and all he needs to do is travel a few times a month. So he came there, and for much less than what he was spending in Chicago, created something much nicer. And it's basically because the people and the broadband. So when the governor stands here and the congressman stands here and says, you know, we need to make this investment, we are going to make this investment because it truly is the game changer in the future in our society and how we do business. We've seen that. It's probably one of the few, very few silver linings that have come out of this past 15 months to see how we will change the business practices of this place and all around the world. So it is imperative, and this is something that grew out of the initial SOAR conference, was we need to, as Congressman Rogers said, create Silicon Holler. And we have, and we are. And we're going to continue to see that, and it's going to change that economic dynamic. The other thing I want to say about this, when you look at SOAR and what came out, I think a lot of towns started looking at themselves differently. What do we do? How do we solve the problems? How do we reach across the county lines to make things work? And you see what Corbin has done. But I also show you up in Knott County, last weekend, Rocky, Governor, your staff was there, Lieutenant Governor, I think 3 weeks ago, where they opened up the Trails program. This past weekend, over $25,000 was spent next to Hampton, Kentucky in Knott County with people on their ATVs, their RVs, and their trailers who were there to experience the Eastern Kentucky weekend like no other place you can go. So when we look at all the good things that have come out of SOAR, I'm going to go back to one last little thing about what I've seen. To Colby and Tao and the other groups and all the individuals, Josh at SOAR, they have focused on individual towns. And in Manchester, my home, which most of you all know that, what we have seen through the teleworks, even in the time of COVID, Governor, we've seen 67 jobs created through the distance working. We also were able to create another 40 jobs working with the SOAR group, dealing with an issue that we don't particularly care to deal with, but chemically dependent pregnant women. But the jobs that came there, our local hospital just did a $40 million expansion because they see the opportunity, Terry, to grow. So we've actually seen, along with a few of our smaller companies, have additional contracts. We've seen job growths in Clay County of over 125 jobs because of the way we're viewing technology and opportunity. So we're here today to talk about SOAR coming to Corbin, to expose what's going on in South Central Kentucky. I tell you, to anybody and everybody who's listening, come visit us. Come ride the four-wheeler trails in Knott County. Go fish the South Fork and catch muskie and smallmouth in Clay County. Then we'll come to Corbin and have lunch and dinner at one of the great restaurants on Main Street, Mayor. Does that sound like a plan?
That's perfect.
So I tell everybody, thank you, SOAR. Thank you, Congressman Rogers. Thank you, Governor, for coming here and supporting us. And in Corbin, let's either get on the train or you can stay at the depot. Have a great day.
We will not be staying at the depot. So. Although that is a great restaurant, Corbin. If you've never been there, you need to go. And I neglected to say hi to Tal Jones. Sorry, Tal. Hi, how are you? Glad you're here. All right, so next I'm going to introduce the new executive director of SOAR, someone that I look very forward to working with in the future. We've got Mr. Colby Hall.
Good afternoon. I'm Colby Hall, and I'm the Executive Director of Shaping Our Appalachian Region, or SOAR for short. Before I close this out today, I do want to thank every person for being here. The support we've received leading up to this announcement has been phenomenal, and it's further proof of what Eastern Kentucky's number one asset is: its people. I do want to give a special thanks to the folks on stage with me today. Governor, Congressman, and Senator, all of you are advocates, leaders, and fighters for Eastern Kentucky and for what's possible across our region when we focus on working together to solve problems. Each of you and your staffs have been kind and helpful to me since I started at Soar 6 months ago, so thank you. This was the first year the Soar Summit was put through a competitive bid process in an effort to give every Eastern Kentucky community an equal chance to make their case for why they should be the host community for the 2021 Soar Summit. Soar is very appreciative of every city across the region that submitted a bid, and we look forward to having a competitive process year in and year out moving forward. To Mayor Susie, Marlon, Maggie, and the rest of the Corbin community, it's been a pleasure working with you so far, and SOAR is so appreciative of your warm hospitality and attention to detail. To our sponsors here today, the Appalachian Regional Commission, Appalachian Wireless, Fort Group, Pikeville Medical Center, and UK Healthcare, thank you for your ongoing support of SOAR and the work that we do across Eastern Kentucky. I also want to thank you to Ms. Lynn Tipton, a SOAR board member, for making her way out today as well. Now, as we stand here today, emerging from the worst global pandemic in the past 100 years, when many are wondering what the future holds, when many other cities and communities are reeling and retreating, we're singing a different song in Eastern Kentucky. SOAR was created to be a catalyst and a convener for the 54 Appalachian Regional Commission counties across Eastern Kentucky. But most importantly, it was to be an organization of action. The Soar Summit is Central Appalachia's premier convening where we gather to talk about ideas, plans, and topics important to helping Eastern Kentucky blaze a return to prosperity. For 2 days, we forget about our home counties to celebrate our collective wins and recognize that we do have what it takes as Eastern Kentuckians. We leave with a renewed sense of purpose, focus, and unity around a vision for the future of our region. Our work is community-led. The SOAR blueprint was forged from input and feedback from stakeholders across Eastern Kentucky who agreed these 7 pillars were the keys to economic revival across Eastern Kentucky. Broadband connectivity, a 21st century workforce, entrepreneurship in a digital economy, healthy communities, industrial development, regional food systems, and tourism and downtown revitalization. It's the first pillar, broadband connectivity, that I want to touch on briefly today, as this pillar will be front and center at the 2021 SOAR Summit. With proper connectivity, it's no longer required to live where we work and work where we live. Communities across rural America, especially here in Eastern Kentucky, have never been in such an advantageous position to compete with large metropolitan centers as they are now. Why would anyone with the freedom to choose not come to an Eastern Kentucky community like Corbin, which offers farm-to-table local restaurants, high-achieving public schools, world-class healthcare facilities, and a state-of-the-art entertainment arena at a lower cost of living? SOAR's #1 priority is to work with local government and internet providers to blanket Eastern Kentucky with high-speed, functional internet access. Improving economic, health, and education outcomes across Eastern Kentucky depends on our ability to see last-mile broadband through to completion. The high-paying jobs that we've been after for years have arrived remotely, and they're as available to a person in Knox or Whitley County as someone in San Francisco or New York City. Eastern Kentucky now has the tools it needs to retain its best and brightest and recruit workers from outside the region to relocate right here, bringing their wallets and their families with them. Getting last-mile broadband done is a burden we share, and we've all got a role to play. It's going to take judge executives, mayors, magistrates, council members, local providers, and community leaders working together to ensure connectivity reaches down into every holler and up to every mountaintop across Appalachia, Kentucky. But at the end of the day, That's what the Soar Summit's about. Eastern Kentuckians coming together to find common ground and ways to work together to advance the entire region. Soar is as bullish on Eastern Kentucky as ever because in this post-pandemic world, we're in the driver's seat, and we've got everything we need to not just compete, but to win. Broadband, remote work, tourism, and developing a workforce that can compete in the modern digital economy will all be topics introduced and discussed at the 2021 Soar Summit, October 13th and 14th, right here in Corbin, Kentucky. Thanks again for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you back here in Corbin in October.
I don't know about you all, but I feel like I've been to church. This is so exciting. And I thought you were going to say amen a minute ago. It's like, whoo, yes, amen. Thank you all so much for coming. We're now going to unveil the logo. So if y'all would like to stick around for the photo op, you're welcome to do so. I don't think we're going to speak after this, so just make yourselves at home. There's food trucks. Oh, never. Restaurants are open. Restaurants are open. Sorry. So please go visit one of our amazing restaurants that we've got in downtown Corbin. Go visit the record store. We got all kinds of cool stuff here. So make yourselves at home. Thanks for coming again.